Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Rundown, the Gun Day Monday edition of the Rundown. My name is Mike Poworski. I am your host for today, coming to you from the East Coast. I am the host with the most, from the coast with the most, here on the Rundown, where we bring you 2A views of conservative news. But I don't do this program by myself.
No, you do not, sir. I will be your co-host today, your co-pilot. I will be your wingman today, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. Once again, bringing to you 2A news and conservative views. How was our weekend, sir?
Wow. Well, you should probably go first because I need to gauge how much time I got based on what you say.
My weekend was actually, pretty uneventful. I had a little family gathering on Saturday, yard work yesterday, and a good amount of chilling.
Co-chilling at the crib, yo. Yeah.
Chilling at the crib.
We call it Stormageddon come through here in Florida. Massive thunderstorms, which was nothing. Lasted 30 minutes. Then we had a cold front, Craig. We had another cold front come through. It got down to like 59 degrees at one point. So
Burr.
It was burr. It's cold inside. Cold outside. So let's see. What did I do? Oh man, what a weekend! Did some flying. Right, took the old airplane up on Sunday. Went and buzzed people's houses. That's always fun. And I've got this one neighborhood convinced that the FBI is watching him. He thinks every time I buzz his house, the FBI is watching him. So I got to do that like once a week. His parents play along too. They're like, "We don't know what you're talking about. We don't know what you're talking about. What airplane? Slowly turning this kid insane." And then Billy Joel stadium concert on Saturday night.
Oh wow, that must have been nice.
Got to go see the Piano Man. Well, listen, by that point the temperature had dropped down to in the 40s and the wind was howling. So all those people that showed up for regular Saturday night weather, they did a little freezing. But I briefed up all the people going with me. I was like, nope, long pants, jackets, gloves, hats. Trust me, once you get into the wind, you'll know what we're talking about. And they were like, this sucks carrying all this stuff. And we got there and people were like, can I borrow a glove? Can I just borrow one glove? And we were like, no, go away. Go away.
Folks, it's serious if Mike Piwowarski is wearing long pants.
I didn't say I was wearing pants. I told them to wear pants. Yeah. So, yeah. I did wear long socks. So
okay. All right.
Longer than normal socks. Yeah.
Longer than normal socks.
Yeah. Exactly. They covered the ankles.
Excellent. So, hey, folks, if you're watching us, or I guess if you're listening to this, you are watching or listening. Hey, take a moment. Please make sure to share the program with the folks, all of your folks throughout the Weber nets and on your social medias. Once again, you can be watching us on YouTube. You can watch us on Facebook. You can watch us. You can actually watch us on OpsLens. OpsLens is a phenomenal app where you can watch it on your TV. You can also respond to the program there on OpsLens. Check it out. But make sure you share and let folks know about the program. You can also listen to the program wherever you get your podcast. So when we're done here, an audio version is loaded up, and so you can listen to the program. Once again, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, you can listen to the program as well. So please make sure, do that and encourage your friends, once again, to do the same. Do it right now so that they can participate in the conversation as the program is going on.
Right now?
Like they should share it like right now. Like this moment.
Right now.
Bam, do it.
Gotcha.
Now.
No? Right now? Yeah.
Right now. Like now. Not
right
then now, but
right
now.
Not then, not now. Now,
okay.
Right now.
Exactly. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's get into the stories, Mike.
Stories, sir. The new New York City Police Commissioner. She's been in there for a month and a half, right? Eric Adams took office in January and named her as police commissioner. I believe she's formerly of Nassau County. I believe she was the chief of detectives out there, or the chief of a department. One of the top jobs out there in her other agency before she came to New York City. Listen, we've brought this fact up before. Eric Adams is an African American man. She's an African American woman. It was clearly, Craig, you and I said that it wasn't that he was bringing in the best person for the job. He was bringing in the best uh, minority female for the job. He did the same thing that President Biden did. Um, you know what? Sometimes that happens, Greg, and sometimes you still get the best person for the job, right? She's gone in, she's taken a look at the situation. In the course of 6 weeks, she has said, "Okay, hold on here. There's no way we're fixing this problem unless we fix the bail reform problem, unless we fix the nuisance law problems, unless we fix the minor crimes problems here in the city of New York." Kachant Sewell is her name, and she recognized what any good police executive recognized, and pat on the back for her for standing up outside of what her mayor wanted her to say. Let's say that. I'm sure she took some heat for her comments, but she has come forward and said, and without giving credit where credit's due, that the policies of old, of Giuliani, of that era where we do not accept nuisance crimes in our town, we have a good bail system. Those things are going to be required to take back New York City from the criminals, in order to gain back the trust of the citizenry, in order for the police department to gain back the confidence of the citizens that they can protect the citizens. Those things must occur first.
Well, I would be really curious to see if this was if the police if the mayor actually did have issues with what she had to say, because this is actually quite consistent with what he was saying on the campaign trail. He was very much along the lines of, look, we have got to enforce our laws. We have got to lock people up who are committing crimes. And so what she is saying here is consistent with what he said on the campaign trail.
Greg, and maybe I'm reading into it too much now. And I did see his stuff on the campaign trail, but he talked about the kumbaya effect, how we could all hold hands and everything could make everything better. He did talk about the anti-gun squads and the anti-crime squads, which are still waiting for those to come out. But his office has taken the lead on that, not her, which makes me think that he's trying not only to be the mayor, but the police commissioner. All right. So she, as the police commissioner, recognized some of these other things. So again, maybe I'm reading into it, but what I see here in the story is the absence of his agreeance with her.
Right.
Okay.
Well, so the truth is, what he should have done was rehired Commissioner Reagan to come in and run the police.
Listen, Commissioner Thomas Magnum was the best thing that happened to that city in a very long time.
Oh yeah. So, either that or reach outside the city and go with Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, listen. And I think Commissioner Gordon was the commissioner there at one point. So yeah, but Commissioner Gordon would do it too.
It would definitely help, because with him comes Batman.
That's right. I am the Batman.
Look, if you're not, once again, and I think we're in agreement. If you're not going to enforce the laws, if you're not going to lock criminals up who commit crime, what's the point of having laws, and what's the point of having law enforcement?
Yeah. So, Craig, in Seattle right now, all right, Seattle's going through much the same problems, all sorts of crime. In fact, the downtown Seattle has pretty much been shut down. All the major businesses, including Amazon, with something like just almost 2,000 workers there. Amazon has said, we're shutting down because there was a murder right in front of their front door. I'm not talking about small business either. McDonald's has shut down everything in the city of Seattle. There's the city's not collecting anymore, right? So the city starts to lose money. So the mayor recognizes that there's a problem. Did you read what the mayor's response was to this one, Craig?
I did not read what the mayor's response was. What did he say?
Well, first off, that's a D for your homework assignment this weekend. And the mayor said, "Oh, clearly we need more social programs. Clearly, what we need is we'll put a couple extra police on bicycle patrol, but we've got to get more counselors, more social workers."
Right.
You know, you can revitalize all you want. You can paint the background all you want. We are not coming back to work. I'm sorry, we're going to need some law and order down here before we see some, some paint and door trim.
Well,
It's not going to work.
exactly. And unfortunately, we're not going to see any of that change. We're not going to see any change well, until you get serious about enforcing the law. The community program. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against the idea of. Well, I am against the idea of government-funded community programs. I think we ought to be looking to the nonprofit community to do that. Number one, because not only are they more effective at programs that aid the community, but they are also doing a lot more efficiently. But the government needs to be focused on keeping us safe, and the way in which you keep us safe, is by, I don't know, enforcing the law. Just saying.
Exactamundo, right? As the Fonz would say. And it's amazing how two major cities. Listen, Seattle's a major West Coast city. I'll give them that. But you've got the major city, New York, recognizing right away, okay, issues, we need to take care of them, and here's how we need to take care of them. And the West Coast doing the whole, we need to be even kinder and gentler in order to make this stop.
Right. Well, once again, here they're talking about while it will take time to reverse longstanding public safety issues. No, these were not in most cities and most places. Crime was not increasing until you guys decided you were going to decriminalize crime.
There you go.
It really wasn't across the United States. Like in California, we saw unprecedented 20-year reduction year over year of crime and violent crime. And guess what? That was because we were locking people up. Right.
Listen, now, Seattle and the Pacific Northwest they got rid of the nuisance crimes a few years ago. Then we had the riots, right? And guess what the riots did? The riots said violent crime's okay. It's okay to do violent crime. Well, guess what happened if violent crime's okay? You're going to get murders on the doorstep of Amazon. And that's what they got.
And somehow it's like once again, and they don't own the fact that it was their policies. That's what kind of gets me. It's like, just say, we made a mistake.
Yeah, and listen, I get it. New York has the opportunity right now, since it's the new election. They have the opportunity to go, it's the last guy's mistake, okay? But they still stood up and said, those guys were the same party as us, but it was still a mistake.
Right. Exactly. Got to hold these folks accountable.
Yep. All right, let's roll right along. Craig, you love you some Governor Newsom, and I love me some Captain Florida. And this story has them rattling sabers. So I thought you might get a kick out of the story. Just take a look at this one. Uh-oh, I think we lost Craig.
Oh, no, I'm here. So basically in this particular story, you got Gavin Newsom was roasted for basically he was telling Disney they should bring jobs back to California.
Yeah, we talked about the story last week, and Craig, we had the good video of it of Governor Captain Florida, Governor DeSantis, when the reporter asked him the question about the never say gay bill or don't say gay bill, and the governor just tore him apart. Does it say that? Does it say that? Does it say that? And this is the furtherance from that. Governor Newsom said, I'm sorry, the next step was after that happened, in Florida, the CEO of Disney came out and said, we're going to suspend donations to any political campaigns in Florida because now we're not in agreement with this policy. Now, Disney was totally aware of what was going on beforehand. So gauge the Disney thing, right? Okay, well, we don't agree with it, but not so much. So we're just not going to say anything. So after the bill's passed, then the CEO of Disney comes out and says, we don't agree with that, so we're suspending any political campaigns to either side. We're just suspending it. Now, Disney does this a lot. Disney will come out and say, we're suspending political campaigns, and then a month later start up again and never tell anybody. That's just the way of Disney. It's the way of appeasing their employees, because Disney does have a decent LGBT-sized workforce. So they're I guess they're overly sensitive to anything involves that. So president, maybe soon to be president, right? Governor DeSantis tells Disney, well, they're woke, and now they feel like they have to say something. They always have other options, like to say, like, to tease them, or you could leave if you wanted to, but where else would you go, right? Because they do have it incredibly good here in Florida. Well, Governor Newsom picks up on that and says, hey, you could come back. Hey, Disney, you just sent 2,000 jobs to Florida from California. You could come back, right? Oh, and then it started. And then everybody around the country started in on Newsom.
Oh yeah, it is an on. It is amazing that and once again he is completely and utterly tone deaf. He doesn't understand that. Yeah, no. Well, just like he, in his estimation, for example, in his State of the State address, he's talking about the business climate in California, and then just starts talking about abortion because big corporations are so interested in doing abortions that they're going to come to a state like California because it's abortion business friendly.
Yeah, it was like, what? I was that right? I want to give you drop you a few of these quotes here against the governor. Governor Newsom there. It says Gavin Newsom, God, stop moving, phone. Hold on, you got it there. I'm sorry, folks. My phone's bouncing around and Craig's scrolling so quick I couldn't keep up with him. So you got a couple of them, Craig? Read a couple of them, Craig.
Okay, here's one. This one, hold on, wait, not that one.
Yeah, that's Newsom's original one. Go back
Good
to
luck
Newsom's
with
original.
that. That's from Pradeep Shanker, whatever. Oh, here's another one. Disney left your financially oppressive state for a reason, Gavin. Many of them. You can't possibly represent the values of workers when you're second in the nation in households living paycheck to paycheck. Boom.
Yep.
Mark Thiessen, a bunch of ha-has.
There you go.
Here's one. Gavin Newsom kept Disney closed for 13 months straight.
That's a good one. We can finish with that one.
Okay, maybe you should reflect on why they left in the first place and why so many Californians are fleeing your crime-ridden dystopia for free states like Florida. California weather is better, but progressivism destroyed the middle class. Sincerely,
no, I don't know.
California.
I don't know who is that. Christina. I can't see her last name. Christina is, but she's clearly from like San Diego area. Yeah, because that's the only place that has better weather than Florida. Other than that, we got you beat. Sorry.
Well, yeah. Well, it depends because first of all, we don't have hurricanes here in California.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Get your list ready, folks. Hurricanes one.
Earthquakes are not weather, okay? And we don't hardly have many of those.
Earthquakes are weather.
Mudslides.
You know what? They're whether or not you die. So it's earthquakes count.
It's not weather. Weather. You do know what weather is, right?
Yes, whether or not you die, right? From the hurricane. From the earthquake. Yeah. So we got the hurricanes, right? We got the hurricanes right here.
Right.
So we got the earthquakes, we got the mudslides, we got the fires.
Mudslides are not weather.
All weather related, Craig. The water has to hit the ground from the sky in order to make the mud. All right. The conditions in the forest have to be dry from no rain for the fires.
I wholly admit that Florida is a better state to live in. We're not going to go with the weather, but yeah, you're right. Probably she is from San Diego.
Yeah,
it is probably the only place in California that has better weather than Florida, or as good as.
Yeah, consistently 78, 80 the whole time, sunny. Yeah. It's beautiful there. Beautiful there.
Oh yeah, when it's cold, it's in the 60s.
Yeah.
Beautiful place. Beautiful place. But once again, there are so many former Californians that I know that are thinking that way. And by the way, there are many more former Californians since COVID than there were previously. So much so that some of our not everyone who left California is a fully patriotic refugee. So y'all watch out for some of those former Californians.
Yes, because many of them are just fleeing the taxes. They still want to continue their liberal ways. They just didn't want to pay for the taxes. They want to be liberal and pay less taxes.
Exactly. That there be the way that it be. But yeah, no. So Gavin is just completely and utterly tone deaf. He doesn't get why businesses left. And when, I put it, it's bad when even Disney. I mean, as liberal as Disney is, when even they go,
Yeah. Yeah.
ah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and many
Disney
a
came
lot
out
of I mean,
again.
Levi Strauss, Disney. I mean, there are a bunch of liberal companies. Tesla. I mean, there are a bunch of liberal companies who've just said, "Yeah, nah, I'm good."
Disney came out and said, "We don't agree with the governor's new policy. We're going to be suspending uh, political campaigns." And Newsom said, "Hey, Disney, you could come back to California." And Disney went, "Well, we're not like that upset about it. I mean, come on." I mean, we felt we had to make a tweet, but that was it. I mean, come on.
Right. Exactly. And that probably what it was is they probably weren't planning on contributing anyway. Um,
Right, right.
but the other thing that I get behind this whole thing is by the way, they're still lying about the quote unquote "don't say gay" bill. They're
Oh yeah,
completely and utterly lying about what it
yeah,
is.
yeah. Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely right. All right, let's roll through. Let's roll to the next one here. Chiefs against constitutional carry. Indiana is poised to become the 22nd state. And listen, it just goes back and forth, folks. Some of these look like a lock. Some happen, some don't. I think Alabama may have just signed this weekend, so now Indiana might be looking at becoming the 23rd. These are just rolling through. Some days it's harder to keep track than others. This point a year ago, we were at 16 to give you an idea of how these continue to roll through. And what does this do? This guarantees a constitutional right, is what it is. It says, could you imagine, Craig, if all of a sudden states were going out going, we're going to be a Fourth Amendment state now. We actually have decided to give due process to individuals. It's so ridiculous that we have to have a state declare themselves a constitutional carry state, a Second Amendment state. Now, I'm not talking about the sanctuary state. They're just saying we're going to be obeying the Second Amendment. You know, we're not going to be adding any weird restrictions or anything to it. So
Funny how that works.
yeah, there's a couple of chiefs, whether it's the sheriff, a police chief, or the union chiefs in the state of Indiana that still oppose. And we talked to you about this probably about 2 weeks ago. The the Indiana State Police Director, he was opposed to it also. And it's much the same words where they say this is going to allow felons to carry guns, and it's not true, folks. This law is very clear that it says those that are already barred from carrying a firearm are continued to be barred from carrying a firearm.
Let me play the video real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
And guns.
It's still illegal for a felon to have it. I get it, but there's no way for us, an officer on the road, checking that. That's a very important safety issue that we're getting rid of.
Plassey says not only will constitutional carry make local law enforcement's job harder, it will also impact the safety of Hoosier communities.
To say you're a felon, you have a weapon, we stop you, we don't know that. There's no way for us to check that. So you leave, you go commit a crime, God forbid kill somebody. We could have stopped you if we had the permit system in place, but now the state wants to get rid of that.
The Indiana State Police, the Indiana Chiefs of Police Association, and the State Indiana Fraternal Order of Police have all spoken out against this legislation. Sheriff Plassey would like to see Governor Holcomb side with law enforcement organizations like these.
He's done great things for the state. I just don't think he would want to do something that makes our job less safe, as well as the citizens of Indiana, and I think that's exactly what this bill does.
See, this is.
Do you want to attack it first, or should I?
Huh? Oh, well, first of all, yeah, no, there is absolutely nothing that says that, okay, if you know someone is a felon and you know they have a gun, they've broken the law, they go to jail. Nothing changes. I just, I don't understand what he is talking about when he says it makes their job less safe.
He says, and I want you to listen to the lies in here, folks. It sounds like he's talking about some facts, but these are lies. He says, you pull somebody over and you know they're a felon. How do we let them go with their gun? How do we let them, if they leave and they continue to take their gun and they go out and commit a crime? If you know they're a felon, you know they're a felon. He said, if I pull them over and we know they're a felon, they take a firearm and they continue to go forth. If you know they're a felon, you know they're a felon. They're not allowed to have the firearm. I don't understand his mentality.
Here's
if we pull them over and they're felons, and then we let them have their guns, they can go commit crimes.
Mentality is
they're felons. You know they're felons.
Yes. The point is this: is that to them, or at least to some of these chiefs, the only good guys should have guns, and to them, only cops are good guys. So if
only
you have
the
a gun
government should
and
have
you're
guns.
not a cop, you're not a good guy. That's what
Let's be
a
clear.
lot of these chiefs
Only the
believe.
government should have guns. Only
Right.
the government.
Only the
should have
government
guns,
should
according
have
to
guns. So
Yeah.
the assumption is that if someone has a gun, they're a bad guy. So let me check and see if they have a permit. If they don't have a permit, well, then they go to jail.
I do want to say this, Craig, that when we did the study on this story, this is the only sheriff that really came forward and said this. The majority of the sheriffs in Indiana
Right.
are in agreement with constitutional carry.
It's
So you've
the
got some
police chiefs, which, by the way, are generally governed by city councils, which are largely run by the largest cities. And they generally, once again, police chiefs generally tend to be liberal.
Yes.
Because they're generally run by local governments.
Well,
The
maybe they're
labor
not
union,
liberal.
which
Maybe
by the
they're not
way,
liberal, but they answer. Yeah, maybe they're not liberal, Craig, but they answer to a board of liberals.
yes,
So in order
there
to
you go.
maintain their job,
Yes.
you know, they have to, and I understand the balance that they walk. If they want to get to be an executive in law enforcement, for the most part, they've got to answer to that board of liberals. I guarantee if we look up Plassey County or wherever Sheriff Plassey is, it's going to be in one of the major metropolitan areas.
Right.
And his job is probably more along the lines of court bailiff up there, because the sheriffs in the major cities up there don't do much. So.
And by the way, and the union, which by the way is generally it's funny because on these particular issues, when it comes to the Second Amendment, many union bosses do not represent their membership on issues. I can't say that enough, because most law enforcement officers, rank and file law enforcement officers, are in favor of the individual right to keep and bear arms. But for some reason, the people who run their unions have absolutely no problem having that right infringed upon, as long as their members are protected.
Yeah, Vigo County is the sheriff where he is. It's in Terre Haute, Indiana. It's one of Indiana's largest cities, over 100,000 in population.
Right.
So there you go. He's and again,
it's still illegal for a felon to have
Sorry, I
it.
didn't mean to run that.
yeah. It's don't believe the hype. And Governor Holcomb, he should be signing this. If he hasn't, the Indiana associations, the Second Amendment associations there have already let him know that if he chooses not to sign this, or if he chooses to veto this, that he could expect one hell of a fight at election time, because he's got the opportunity now to prove his campaign promises as a Second Amendment supporter and a Republican. So if he does not, this governor might be out of a job as well. So
exactly, folks. A politician is not pro Second Amendment if they are not actively trying to advance and protect our right to keep and bear arms. Period. And so there's no way you can veto this and say you're pro Second Amendment.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Craig, take us into the Ukraine.
Into the Ukraine. Let's take you into the Ukraine. So our good friend Kamala Harris she is the gift that just keeps on giving. She really is. She was giving a briefing or giving a presentation to members of the Democratic Party, to the DNC. And evidently, somehow, some way, unbeknownst to the rest of the world, Ukraine became a member of NATO, at least according to Kamala Harris.
So I will say what I know we all say, and I will say over and over again. The United States stands firmly with the Ukrainian people in defense of the NATO alliance.
Now, Mike, last I checked, and I could be utterly wrong, but the reason why we are not currently engaged militarily in Ukraine right now, with troops on the ground, with a no-fly zone or all of that, is in no small part because Ukraine is not a member of NATO.
You're absolutely right, Craig, and that actually it irks me. All right, that murder, death, kill might be going on. The first stages of genocide might be going on, but because those people lack the wrong, club membership card in their wallet, that we don't come to their aid. But beyond that, you are correct. They are not a member of NATO.
Right. Well, the White House, clearly they felt the need to kind of, to fix her gaffe. When they released the transcript of her particular speech, you'll notice that there was a word that was added there, and they do it in the little brackets here. They added the word "and," where she says, So I will say what I know we all say, and I will say over and over again, the United States stands firmly with the Ukrainian people and in defense of the NATO alliance. How often, I mean, it's one thing to have a president who's a gaffe machine, but to also have a vice president who is a gaffe machine, how do people expect us to take this White House seriously? I don't think, in fact, I don't think anybody.
I honestly don't think this was a gaffe from her. Conveniently enough, if you put one word in there, it does change the meaning, but that happens with many, many sentences. She just got done with a little tour of what was going on there in Poland, and I guarantee you, if there's any video of that surfaces, it's going to be her same way, same attitude, riding through Poland on her white horse, letting all the other peasants see her and know how much more superior she is than them, and cares so little about their situation. But yes, here I am, the vice president, kiss my ring. So then when she comes out and says this, I don't think she has any clue. I think she thinks that the Ukraine is part of NATO. I don't think she knows the difference between NATO and the United Nations and what used to be a Warsaw Pact country and not. I don't think she has a clue. I think she just says she knows. She goes there, and whatever she thinks is real must be real because she's the vice president.
Well, she's such a dimly lit bulb that after her visit to Poland, even the Polish are now making Kamala Harris jokes. Yeah, it is beyond outrageous. Like I said, I'm convinced that even they right now are making Kamala Harris jokes. Okay. It is what it is. All right, why don't we go ahead and move on to the next subject. Let's go over here. Oh, actually, Mikey, it looks like we're now at the parting shot. So it's time to
parting shot time.
Definitely parting shot time. And this has a little something to do with Ukraine. A lot of people are sitting here and want to tell you that gas prices are high, and you have the White House who's basically saying to everyone, right, the reason why prices are high is because of what's going on in Ukraine. Well, I think most of the American people are starting to realize, or at least realize, that is a bunch of hooey. These things are popping up on gas pumps all around the country. And it's funny because the only places that are really reporting on these things, I mean, to me, this is a news story, right? This is about as funny as Let's Go Brandon. Why are more media sources not reporting on this?
Because most media sources are controlled by the liberal elite, right? We know that the media is controlled 90% by liberal and Democrat funded organizations. It's the only the 10% like us and the non-traditional media or on radio waves that have any say at all in the conservative views. They're not going to put this out there because guess what? It's a story that goes against their core values.
Well, and interestingly enough, let's talk a little bit about that. So this was another meme that was put out that kind of goes hand in hand with the other one we were just looking at. And this is where gas prices were the average gas prices were when Biden took office. You'll notice it's down there around a little over $2 a gallon. It was the average across the country. And then look where it was when Ukraine started. It got up to about $3.40 a gallon. Now we know it's well over $4 a gallon, about $4.50 a gallon. So yes, it is in part up because of Ukraine, because of what's going on. Actually, some people are saying that it was already continuing to go up, and it's not actually going to hit its maximum. It's not even where it's going to wind up because of what's going on in Ukraine. But once again, there's no doubt when one looks at this that, Ukraine is just part of the reason why gas prices are so high.
Craig, I did send you another picture there because of the last story we did, I wanted to make sure we included everyone. So if you want to take a look at that one, maybe we can squeeze it in. But listen, folks, if you don't think the president has anything to do with gas prices, then you're just living with your head in the sand also. And I'm not sure why you're listening to us, unless you like watching the opposition, because it's the confidence levels. It's the ability to, there you go. Look at that. She helped.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yes, she helped.
He shut off the pipeline. We were energy sufficient. We were oil sufficient. And guess what we are now? Dependent once again, and continuing to purchase oil from the country we're putting sanctions against for going into the Ukraine. I'm not sure I understand that.
Well, and forcing them to charge us more for oil because, well...
Well, yeah, because now they have to protect the oil as
Right.
it comes out of their country because they're at war.
Right.
It
is idiotic. It is idiotic, but it is the way we do things. All right, Mikey, we're running a little long on time today, so let's go ahead and give a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Let's say hey to Gorilla Machining. Let's talk a little about Grid Defense and the good friends at the California Republican Assembly. In fact, during the show right here, the Gorilla Defense guys, they've been blowing up my phone, so I got to call them back once we're done.
All right, folks. Hey, please remember, like, share, subscribe, encourage your friends to do the same. We will tune in. Please make sure you tune in tomorrow. Once again, same bat time, same bat channel, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. Thank you so much for tuning in. And once again, thank you for encouraging your friends to do the same. We will holler at you mañana.